Hi, I'm Lars. Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to play around in Fusion 360. We're going to go out and hit the Onefinity CNC machine, and then we're going to hit XTool's F1. We're making is one of these guys. What is this? This is a business card template. So you put in a blank, you put this in your F1, and then you can flip it over like that and do the other side if you need to, which we do. So these are the business cards that we have been creating. Okay, it has a QR code on the back. I think if you look at it like that, you want to take a picture, you can probably go to their site. I'm going to make one that's a little deeper. As your laser burns on wood, it takes away the wood. So this is no longer staying in here really tight. Yeah, we could get the framing down a little tighter on it probably, but you know, you want to make sure you're going to get all these proper for your client. If you're interested in this, then let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a sketch, and we do this by clicking on this little box with the plus on it and then choosing a plane. I'm going to choose the X plane. It's going to display up here, so I'm always looking at the top. We need to put a box on here, and we need to expand this out. Since our box is 4.28, the thing that we need to cut out, this is going to be 6 by 6. It can be bigger than that if you have it, if you need it, that's fine. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to extrude a box off of this, and this box is going to go up 0.35 inches or 3/8 of an inch. Now we're going to create a new sketch, and this sketch is going to lay on top of the body. So we're going to put another rectangle in here. This rectangle is going to be 4.28 by 4.28. Now that is the size that I found that works for my F1. If you want to make this a little bit bigger, you can do that. You may need to sand it. I will probably need to sand mine also. Now, we need to get this box centered inside of this big box. The way that I figured out how to do that is to come over here, grab a line, hit construction, and give me a horizontal line here, and then on the outer box find the midpoint, which is signified by that triangle. Make sure it's 90 degrees and draw another line. Then there's a constraint here for midpoint. You can say I want this midpoint to match this midpoint, and now we are centered. I'm going to finish the sketch. We're going to look at it and say, yep, that's basically what we're looking for. We're going to go back in and edit the sketch. Now, we do not need this line anymore. We will need that one later. The outside of this box, I want to drop down. So I'm going to tell this to now extrude negative 0.35, or I want it to be flat. And it will look like it disappeared. I assure you it did not disappear, but it is looking like it disappeared. As you can see, it's right there. So once you get your box on here, you can hit the fillet like that, and put this at 0.125. Don't hit enter, because you can come over to here and click these two, and it will pick up to 0.125 for all the corners. And then at the very last one, you can hit enter. This here, we need to put another box on the inside, and this is where the card is actually going to lay. So this one across the bottom is going to be 2.13, and up the side is going to be 3.39. And we need to center this in the center of everything. So this is why we needed this line again. And we're going to put another construction line in here. Center to center. And then I'm going to hit escape, hit the midpoint, and we're going to go from here to here. And now that is centered on the box. Since we don't need that line anymore, we can delete it. Now what we need now at the bottom is I need to put a box down here so I can get my finger underneath here to lift this up. And this box, I'm not going to put it in anything, but I am going to just kind of set it down here. And I make this 3/4 of an inch by 0.313. Just there, it barely needs to get underneath the card. Now, I need to find the center of 0.75. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either come in here and just grab a line like this and go construction line, and you can line these two up like that, and that would do just fine. The other way is you could do exactly what we did before. We could put one horizontal here, hook it up to the top here. Here, I'll show you. So you could do this the same way we did it before. You could take this and you could delete that line. You could put another construction line in here like this. And then you could come up to midpoint and click this midpoint to that midpoint. Now you know this is dead center in here. You can't move this anywhere, all right, because it's going to be locked because of these constraints. You could delete the constraint, or you just delete the line. It'll delete the constraints. You can't move these with an arrow. So you could grab this with your mouse and drag it down. The next thing is we're going to put a dimension on between this line and this line, and we're going to put in here 0.25 and hit enter, and that will kick it up for the dimensions there. Now, as long as you keep that dimension there, you'll be fine. Now from here on out, you don't need this construction line. We can delete it, and this is where the card would rest, and this is how you could get this out of here. We're going to cut this line off of here because we do not need it anymore. And what we do need to do is we need to take this and we need to extrude it negative 0.25. And then this one here, I'm going to extrude it, and it's going to go down negative 0.08. Now the last one I did was 0.4. We got about 500 cuts on it for about 500 cards out. And now we're having to redo it. So this is what this looks like at this point in time. And it looks pretty good. Don't want to be doing anything weird here. And I think it looks pretty good. Now, if we go over to design and we go to manufacturer, we should see everything in here. But the problem is we want this to be able to be cut out. So let's go back to design. And let's click on this, and we're going to extrude this, and we're going to say we want this here to come down negative 0.35. Negative 0.35 inches, and hit OK. Now that's going to disappear, but I do still want this out here for my manufacturer. So it is kind of here. You can see it. So if we go to setup, and we go down to machine, we got Kirby. You're going to grab that. So we need to go to stock, and we need to say we want it to be a fixed box size. And the width of this is going to be 6 inches. The depth of this is going to be 6 inches. And now we got our box back. And that's where we're at. We're all the way out here on the edge. So now this matches what we were doing in the design over here. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to turn off, we want to leave the body on. Here we're going to hit 2D contour, and this is the first one we're going to go. So the tool that we're going to use is a 1/8 inch, and the only reason is because I want those, where it does the corners up here in the top. That's what I chose last time. So we got that. We come over to geometry, and we're going to put in here. You're going to see how it's going to select that bottom line. You don't want the top one, you want the bottom line. And it's going to be an open chain. And being that this is going to the right, if you look on top, you'll see that it is on the inside. Now the second thing I want to clear out is down in here. So let's rotate this a little bit so I can see down in there, because I don't want the top edge again. I want this bottom edge. And that's going to be in there. So that's going to take that contour out. No tabs. We're going to hit OK. So you can see right now this looks like it's going to clean pretty decently. Okay, so for the next thing we're going to do is adaptive clearing, and we're going to click on adaptive clearing. We've already got the tool bit set to an 1/8 inch. The geometry we're going to pick is this guy, and we're going to pick this one down at the bottom too. And I'm going to hit OK. And that looks like that will work. Okay, so for the very last one, we're going to do a 2D contour again. This one I'm going to switch the bit out to a 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch bit, because there's a lot of wood it's going to be chunking through here. So I'm just going to be taking out little pieces. The geometry we're going to use is we're going to use the bottom line down here. If you do it on the top, you're just going to run around the top. This here will take care of the depth. And we're going to put some tabs in think a couple on each side like that will do just fine. Passes. That looks good. Okay. Now, we need to take just a quick look at this to make sure it's going to work the way that we think it is. Ignore all these simulation errors because Onefinity doesn't have a machine, and I don't know if I'd like to see the machine on here or not anyway. So there's the first thing. You can literally come in and exit this out. We can hit all of these. So the last one looks like it was pretty cool. I'm going to run this again anyway. Going to hit machining. Going to hit play. You're going to see it's going to cut that out. Dig down in. And we're going to round the outside and cut it out. Now, the thing that you want to do at this point is you want to zoom in to make sure that you've cut what you think you were going to cut. And it looks like we're good. As I said before, the bit will make these corners. And I used a 1/8 inch before, so it should be the same. Exit simulation. Then I need to do some post-processing. So I'm not doing all of these at the same time. I'm going to do these two together since they're the same bit. And I'm going to say this is step 1, 1/8 inch, 2D contour and adaptive. That. And this is going to go in the bezel metal card single for the F1. We'll post. And I'm going to put the second one in here. It's going to be step 2. And I think it's very important to put down the bits so that you're not having to go and dig this out and memorize all this stuff. It's just, you do it. And that would be it. So let's take this out to the shop and get this thing cut. Thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I hope you found something in this video that might help you out. Something in either Fusion 360 you didn't know you could do. Something maybe you've never seen don't have a Onefinity. Maybe you do have a CNC machine, and maybe you can do, cut one of these out on yours. If you don't have a CNC machine, you could cut this out on an S1 if you have an XTool S1, something that has more power than the F1. Now the S1 will cut a 3mm thick piece of wood, and you wouldn't want to do it as like one big piece like this. What you'd want to do is you'd want to have the back side be one piece of 3mm, cut just the outside, and then the top piece you would cut the outside and this little inside part out, and then you would laminate them together. The little addition that I would add to the cutout of the S1 is I've got a little indentation here in the bottom. I would just cut this completely out on the S1 so you could just reach in and pick up that card. Alright? So keep that in mind. So you're always welcome back here in the shop, and as always, have a nice day.